A tale about Madam Ruth and Nadia. Ao was a serene and welcoming community, known for its vibrant market, fertile land and nice people. It was a place where strangers could find a home, provided they followed the traditions of the land. One day, Madam Ruth and her daughter, Nadia, arrived in the village. No one knew where they came from, and their sudden appearance stirred whisper among the villagers. Madam Ruth, in her 50s, with a weathered face that hit at years of struggle, introduced herself as a trader of second-hand clothes and shoes. Her daughter, Nadia, was a striking young woman of 25 years old, soft-spoken yet confident. Nadia was a trained nurse and she quickly captured the attention of the villagers, most especially the men. Despite their mysterious background, Madam Ruth and Nadia brought an air of sophistication. The villagers were happy and willing to welcome them into their community. Following Awo's tradition, newcomers were required to visit the king and his council of elders for formal introduction. Madam Ruth and Nadia honored this custom, meeting the wise king Oba Adetoye in his grand yet modest palace. The council of elders includes Chief Basi and the outspoken elder Amaka, listening carefully as Madam Ruth shared their story, or at least the part she wanted them to know. Your Majesty, we are simple people looking for peace and a place to call home, Madam Ruth said with an humble smile. The king, known for his fairness, scheduled their public introduction for the next market day. On the day of the introduction, that evening, after the village had done with their daily activities, they all gathered in the central square. Family arrived with excitement, eager to meet their new resident. Nadia stepped forward and spoke gracefully. I am Nadia, a nurse, and this is my mother, Madam Ruth. We have come to make our home. My mother trades second-hand clothes and shoes. With company in the city, they recycle these clothes and make them new again. I seek to serve as a nurse in your hospital. To everyone's amazement, they began to distribute gifts and foodstuff. This gesture made the villagers happy. They were all willing to welcome them, singing their praise all through the night. Among the villagers was Auntie Funke, a respected matron who often settled disputes in the village. She took a like to Madam Ruth and introduced her to some of the women who also deal on used clothes. Then there were Tunde, a young farmer with a dream of expanding his cocoa farm. He admired Nadia so much. Sometimes he would pass through the hospital, hoping to see her and strike up a conversation. Nadia's charm and beauty became the talk of the young men, but she remained polite and distant. Another notable figure was Okon, the town drunkard. His wave frame and unkempt beard were a common sign among the villagers. Though often dismissed, Okon had a sharp eye to sense evil. He murmured dark warning to anyone who would care to listen. Something is not just right with these women, he said one day. Mark my words, there is danger coming. Madam Nkechi, the village healer, noticed strange occurrence too. Despite her extensive knowledge of herb and remedy, the illness continued, most especially among new babies. She said one day to Elder Amaka, the spirits are unsettled. Something is not just right. As we turn into months, I will begin to change. Crop fail, livestock begin to fall sick, business crumbled. Worst of all, new baby fall sick and die mysteriously. Mothers mourn their baby, clicking tiny brackets at the tears, soaking their blankets. The laughter of children grew scarce. Replaced by an uneasy silence, this village settled like a heavy fog. Meanwhile, Madam Ruth continued her rant of buying used clothes and shoes from the villagers. She was always cheerful, offering them fair price, but curiosity she refused to buy back. This became noticed among some villagers, but they blunt the thought. Nadia, on the other hand, was a picture of kindness. She cared for the sick, especially new babies, and helped mothers bath their baby. However, some mothers noticed her habit of collecting the bath water whenever she was done. She claimed it was for sanitary purpose, and no one further asked her questions. One fateful day, Okon, as usual, wandered into the forest after an heavy drinking session. Around 1 a.m., his eyes suddenly cleared. He saw a flame from a distance. Curiosity got closer for better view, and he stumbled into the hidden trees. There he saw Madam Ruth and Nadia performing strange ritual. They burned heap of clothes, shoe mixed with ash water, the water Nadia collected from the hospital. Chanting in a language he did not understand, they poured the mixture into the ground. Horrified, Okon ran back to the village, but his slumbered recount of the event only drew laughter. "You have been drinking too much palm wine, ha ha ha," the villagers said. But Santos, the village capital, could not ignore Okon's story. Reversed and observant, he decided to investigate. For several nights, he would venture into the forest, but nothing to show. Almost getting tired, he decided to try one last time. Hidden among the trees, finally, one night, he saw the same fire from a distance. He witnessed Madam Ruth and Nadia conducting their ritual. This time, he noted every detail: the cloth, the shoe, the arch, and also the water. The next morning, Santos sounded the alarm. The villagers, now desperate for answers, gathered in front of Madam Ruth's house, seeking for answers as the distress of part of the building, there forcing her to speak. "I did it for my children in abroad. They have been suffering for long. So I went to one of my friends who took me to one Baba. He asked me to capture the destiny of a village. So whenever I burn these clothes and shoes, my children's life become better, and I share gifts after every ritual." As her word failed, Madam Ruth collapsed and died on the spot. Nadia, upon hearing the news, he fled the village. Despite several search attempts, she was never seen again. The villagers, devastated by the revelation, turned to Oba Adetoye for guidance. The king invited pastors and traditional healers from around the community to cleanse the land. Over days of prayer and ritual, the villagers was finally free from the dark spell. In no time, I will gain its prosperity back. Crop flourish, business thrive, and the laughter of healthy babies filled the air. The children were all happy. The moral of the story is: the pursuit of wealth at the expense of others leads to destruction. True generosity does not come with hidden motive. Even the least regarded among us, like Okon, may hold the truth. The unity of our community brought illness to the land. Also, the story teaches us to be careful whenever we dispose our used clothes, our used items. We should be careful with these things, and be careful of how you collect gifts from other people. Thank you. Tell me what you think about the story.